What we do in psychodrama is offer someone the clinical stage on which they can place their own reality. We don't tell them what their reality is. We offer them a situation so that they can produce it and work on it.
This psychodrama allows the feelings behind the words. So the words may trigger the feeling, and then you can follow the feelings can really flow, and because you're not in your head anymore, you're in your heart, which is where it's happened, where it's been broken.
Families are our first classroom on relationships. The lessons we learn in childhood get lived out throughout our lives. The family is a very sensorial experience. The child in the home smells the home, touches the home, tastes the home, feels the home. So if there is trauma in the home, the child remembers it very particularly and very deeply. If a child is being screamed at by a parent, or is witnessing a lot of chaos, or has an addict parent who is, wonderful one day and a monster another day, the child is left to make sense of that with their developmental equipment of the particular age. And you can just guess what kind of sense they make of it. I'm bad. I can't figure anything out. I can't get anything right. Because the feelings are overwhelming when we're traumatized, we want to shut them down. That's nature's form of protection. Nature doesn't want us to feel what we're feeling when we need to get out of danger. A child being abused feels in danger, so what they're going to do is shut down their emotional being because it's overwhelming. The other part of them that'll shut down is the thinking part of their mind, because we don't want to be thinking our way through a painful situation. We want to get out of it. That means that we never really make sense of the situation if we're being traumatized. We have to do that later, which is where psychodrama comes in. We have to do that in safety and in adulthood. Psychodrama allows us to re-inhabit the body we lived in at the time of the trauma, to slow reality down through role play and role reversal, to replay a situation that traumatized us safely enough so that the thinking mind that shut down at the time of the trauma can come back on board and make sense and meaning from the adult point of view. Psychodrama is a method of role play developed by J.L. Moreno, a Viennese psychiatrist. It allows the body as well as the mind to tell its story through talking and interaction. Psychodrama mimics life. It uses the group as a representation of society in miniature, offering a safe space where both internal and interpersonal issues can emerge into the therapeutic moment so that they can be experienced and worked through in a concrete form. The 5 main elements of psychodrama are the stage, the area on which the drama is enacted, director, therapist or psychodramatist, the protagonist, the person whose drama is being enacted, auxiliary egos, role players chosen by the protagonist to represent persons in their drama, and the audience or group members. The classical format of psychodrama is in 3 parts: warm-up, action, and sharing. The warm-up is getting in touch with the self and particular issues that the group member wishes to explore. Action is the actual role play or enactment, which includes the protagonist, director, and auxiliaries and occurs in space and time. Sharing are the group members sharing their identification with the protagonist and processing feelings that have come up around witnessing or playing roles in the protagonist's drama. The psychodramas you are about to view are spontaneous, unscripted, and unrehearsed. As a director, I will assist the protagonist as they revisit meaningful scenes or psychological reconstructions from their lives that they wish to explore. How much anger do you feel around this loss? Very much anger, very little anger, a medium amount of anger. Okay, so this is how much anger around the loss.
I wouldn't say I feel real anger, but maybe anger is the easiest way sometimes to feel. It's more a feeling of being a bit depossessed and having no tools to handle the situations.
Feeling lost, disorganized, disoriented. Okay. Right. Bob.
The anger is about, the reenactment.
So what's the seed of the reenactment?
Loss. My mother selling out for security.
In the warm-up phase of psychodrama, we get in touch with our own internal stories so that the movement toward action feels natural. Suddenly we're warmed up to a story, we want to say the words, we want to move it into action.
I was the youngest and my brother Mike is 2 years older, but she allowed all the others to get kicked out of the house for security, and she opted for the security. My stepfather didn't want them there. He was an alcoholic.
I got in touch with some issues about my granddaughter that I'm beginning to sort of, I use the word terrorize, the way I was terrorized as a kid, but if my granddaughter says, I don't like you, I come back like a 4-year-old and I say, I don't like you either, you know? And I just feel like I'm becoming my stepfather, and I'm setting up situations that are similar to what he did to me. Well, I want to hear my mother say to me that if I swallowed crushed glass, or if I walk over hot coals, and I would give up John Sacker for you, that's my stepfather, that I would protect you, I would save you, I would love you, I would care for you, you know. And this is what I'm doing with my wife. I'm testing. I'm making demands. Even though I'm working till 10 o'clock at night, I say I'm resentful that she's going out with her friends to go out to dinner. Why don't you just stay home and wait for me? And I know up here again that that's illogical, but...
Let's find Mom. In the action phase, we actually set up a scene so that we can revisit moments in time in which we feel stuck or locked in unresolved conflict. As we move into action, the protagonist, Bob, chooses role players to represent characters from his own life. We help Bob to create a real-life encounter with the characters that live in his inner world, so that he can resolve old emotional and psychological conflicts that still may affect him emotionally and drive his thinking and behavior. We begin to see the picture, so to speak.
All my life I can remember saying, or I remember you saying, of course I love you, you're my son. Of course I love you. It gets to be like, of course I love you, you're my son, you idiot. I don't remember asking the question, but I must have asked the question repeatedly. And you always said, of course I love you, you're my son, you know. But you never said it in a way that I really felt that you loved me, that you were so happy to have me as a son. I always felt like go over there, get out, just get out, you know. Left-handed compliments. I went back to school and as an adult, and you said to me, I said, Mom, I'm going back to college. It's been years, I'm going back to college. And you said, Bobby, you always do things backwards.
So what does Bobby want to say to Mom from way down inside?
And I'm pissed at you, and it's like it screws up my relationships, and I'm looking around to get stuff from my wife that only you were able to give me, and only you could have given me. And damn it, you never did. It was always like I love you. Of course I love you. Don't be stupid, you know? Stop crying.
We have a picture, a beautiful picture, a beautiful, beautiful picture of me. I don't know how old I could have been. You were holding me. And you were with your friend. And the two of you were standing so proud and you were holding me. And somehow I remember having blonde hair, but I don't think I had blonde hair, but it looked like I had blonde hair. And I looked so precious and adorable and cute. You know, and you were holding me. You know? Yeah, you were holding me.
You can see Diane absorbing the role of mother, letting it sink in, figuring out how she can play it so that she will play the role as it happened in Bob's life. Talk to the little boy in her arms.
It feels like you love me. It feels like you really love me. It feels like you really care for me. I just feel so nice up against your chest. It just feels so good, you know? And you look like you're proud of me. So what happened? What happened? You loved me then? It looks like you loved me in that picture.
Bob has asked a direct question, what happened? He will need to reverse roles in order to answer it.
So what happened?
Now he takes on the role of his mother, playing her as he saw her as a child, along with the sense he's made out of it over the years.
Needy. You're just too needy. I don't understand that. I can't understand the emotions. Leave me alone. I don't know where to go with it. I don't know what to do with it. I love you. I love you, okay? I'll say
I believe that you love me.
I love you. I don't know what to...
You're really angry when you say I'm needy.
Oh, not you too, Bobby. Come on.
You mean
Your
me
brothers
too?
and sisters are always saying the same thing.
What's wrong with having needs? I'm a little kid.
I don't know what to do with them, so I don't want to deal with them. Just leave me alone. I've got too much stuff to worry about. Your father died. I'm married again. I have too much stuff.
But who's going to take care of me? What about me?
I'll take care of you.
You don't like
You
it
have too
when I
many
need.
needs. A boy's not supposed to have all those needs.
Again.
A boy's not supposed to have all those needs. Damn it.
But I do.
No! Only girls!
I do.
Only girls!
I do.
No, no, no!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
Boys don't have those needs. You're a freak. Where did you get all those feelings, you freak? I don't have them.
I feel like punching you.
Standing in the shoes of another person can help us to take the abuse we received less personally. By gaining some understanding or even empathy for the other person who has hurt us, the protagonist may be able to let go of a bit of the anger or inner conflict, or even the hope that somehow he can still change the past and begin to accept that what happened to him was the direct result of another person's own dysfunction, that they were passing on their pain to the next generation because they never worked it out for themselves.
You're mean to me.
I love you. You're my son. Of course I love you.
Bullshit.
Watch your language.
No, I won't.
It's a stupid question.
It's not stupid. You're always saying I'm stupid. You're always insulting me, giving me backhanded compliments.
Mom, now I start to interview Bob in order to deepen his experience in the role of mother.
We never talked about feelings. Back home it was very hard. We worked, we went to school.
What was back home?
Back home in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Okay. My parents came from Europe and we just worked hard. My father worked in the mines, my mother worked the farm. I really, really liked men. But he was Jewish and we couldn't. You're not supposed to marry somebody Jewish.
Bob is coming in touch with one of his mother's losses here, when she wasn't encouraged to marry the man she loved, Ben.
Yeah, my mother said, don't do it, don't do it. Marry John, marry John. He's one of us, you know, or close to one of us, you know. He's Ukrainian, marry him, you know. And it just felt like the right thing to do, but I think I loved Ben. I think I really wanted Ben.
Can you tell your son that?
Ben liked you very much. He did.
Yeah.
He would have been a good father for you, Ben.
He would have understood you being a
He
boy
would
with
have,
feelings.
yeah.
Small memories that carry tremendous meaning surface during the course of a psychodrama.
No, I thought of the two of them together and how Ben liked to take them to the pickle factory. He used to take him to the pickle factory. How stupid that I couldn't be with him because he's Jewish, you know?
Wow.
So, what a waste, what a shame. He would have been a good father for you, I know. Not John Sacker. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about John Sacker.
What happens when we have had a painful memory that we've, say, repressed, when it starts to be felt and come to the surface, as we're feeling it, we're thinking about it. We're seeing it now not only as it happened when it happened, but through the eyes of an adult. So we see it differently. And as we do that, we start to reframe things. Perhaps we were a child who was powerless, who thought, I must be bad or my parent wouldn't yell at me like this. As the adult within us witnesses it, we realize I wasn't so bad. I was a child in a situation that was unmanageable for me. My parent yelled at me not because I was bad, but perhaps because they were drunk or they were very stressed out from living with addiction. And so we alter that meaning that we made out of that traumatic circumstance that we now live by unconsciously. We make the memory conscious where we can see it differently, create new meaning, create a sort of new narrative, understand it differently, and replace it within the context of our lives.
I remember when we were kids, and my stepfather and I, for some reason, were in the city. He bought me ice skates, but they got two left feet, two left shoes, ice skates. And we were at Rockefeller ice rink, and we were going home on the subway back to Queens, and we ran into a neighbor, a man, and his son. And they were telling us what they had done in the city. I don't remember what it was so many years ago, but I do recall that my stepfather said, how stupid, what do they go there for? What do they do that for? You know, it's like, you know, it was so negative. It was just so disgusting. You know? And I think of that a lot when I do that to China.
Let's see if we can find John Sacker in the room.
Either my walls are coming up or there's nobody that I'm attaching to. There's nobody that, like, you know. I keep looking at Travis.
Reverse roles and show us John Sacker. Just 2 seconds of showing us.
I don't know. Body position. He was always about to tell a dirty joke. He was always about to say something derogatory. He was always like genital oriented. He was always like, you know.
Here we are role training the auxiliary ego by getting the protagonist to show us the character, in this case John Sacker. This allows the auxiliary to be able to portray the character as the protagonist experienced them, which makes the psychodrama more relevant and powerful. Okay, say what you need to say to John. What did you call him?
John.
Okay.
I try to call you Dad, and you cut me down so quick. And you said, don't you ever call me Dad. Don't ever call me Dad.
Don't you ever call me Dad.
Yeah.
Get over that.
Yeah. Believe me, I'm over it today. I'm over it today. You know? You're such an ugly human being.
So if we're spiraling back, if we started in the present with Susan and China and we're spiraling back to those early scenes, what does little Bobby need to say to this man?
Why my mother ever married you is just beyond my understanding. Throw another knife and I'll kick you in the balls. That's what I'll do.
Don't you threaten?
And then when we get you down, when we get him down on the floor, okay, and then you say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You say, let him go. Let's call the police. When the police come over, they go over to him. The police go over to him and say, oh, okay, sober up, buddy, sober up. While we're cowering in the corner.
Bob begins to re-inhabit his own body. He re-experiences how he felt in the presence of his stepfather, frightened, hurt, angry. From this place, he says what he never got a chance to say, feels what he never got a chance to feel, and does what he never got a chance to do. Bob was too young and too vulnerable to be able to stand up to John, and so he has carried with him all these years the trauma of that abuse, including the accompanying sense of helplessness and rage. Being able to replay this interaction with all the resources he now has as an adult is a critical and powerful step towards healing from the abuse, and can be truly a corrective emotional experience.
Your father was a real man. You're afraid to say to me what you need to say.
You're a man?
I'm a man.
You're a sick excuse for a man. That's what you are. You're a sick excuse for a man. Huh? Making all the dirty jokes, huh? Going around beating up people. That's a man. That's a real man. That's a real
That's what a
man.
man
Yeah.
does.
And what about your daughter, right? Your daughter's totally out of your life.
Stay, and what does little Bobby need to say to this man?
Stop beating up on us. Stop beating up on us. Stop beating up on my mother. Leave my mother alone.
What are you going to do?
Stop beating up on my mother.
What are you going to do
Well,
about
if
it?
I can't do it, we'll gang up on you. We'll gang up on you.
It'll take
That's
more
what
than
we did.
one of you,
Yeah.
I'll tell
Well,
you.
that's what it takes, and we'll take it. It took 3 of us to get you down. Took 3 of us to get you, and we got you down.
And the question that started this scene
I don't know.
was how much anger? How much anger are you feeling? And you were feeling plenty of it.
I get to be you. I mean, I become you.
You
And
couldn't
that's
be
sick.
me in a million
That is
years.
sick. That is sick, that part of me that becomes you. That's very sick. I just want to exorcise, take that part of me and just take it out, huh?
You dream of
Let's
being
choose
as
someone
much
to
a
play
man
the
as I
part
am.
of the part of you that becomes him. Let's choose that. I asked Bob to concretize that role so that he can work through the part of him that identified with the aggressor, so that he can deal with this introjected role through dialoguing with it and standing in it through role reversal, so that he can explore it and eventually move away from it. Whatever's
We
that.
don't have to.
Do whatever you want
We
to do.
don't have to. You don't have to. Mimic this guy. You don't have to mimic him.
Reverse role.
You don't have to mimic this guy. We don't have
Yeah,
to.
but I don't have another image. I don't have another, you know, when the shit hits the fan, I go right there. When the shit hits the fan, that's where I go. I don't know what to do.
We're scared.
Yeah.
When China warms me up to those needs and everything,
Oh,
I go right there.
The double gives voice to the inner world of the protagonist. The double's job is to articulate emotions that may be unavailable to the protagonist, to help to bring them to a conscious level.
I become him. I want to terrorize. I want to, you know.
We don't have to.
Oh, I don't even terrorize. I mean, I just sort of hint, you know. Like the other day, I sort of said, we're driving on this road, and she said, where are we? And I said, we're going home. You know, we're taking another road, and it was a lot. It was a country road, and I said to her, do you want to stop off and see the witch? And, I mean, I bit my tongue. I wanted to crash the car into a tree. Why did I say that? You know, that's what he would say. That's what he would do. You know, take me to Rockefeller Center, put on the 2 left ice skates, twirl me around. You know, beat us up, terrorize us.
This part of me is there. It's dormant all the time. It sits inside of me. Just add water and I am...
And I grow. I sprout.
grow,
I just
I
do
sprout.
it. I grow.
It's a role waiting to be triggered.
How do I not do that?
Reverse roles.
How do I not do that?
Oh, boy.
I don't want to do that. How do I not do that?
How do I not do that? How do I not do that? How do I not do that?
And what the fuck is the matter with me that I want to become
Him,
him?
of all people.
Right? How do I not do that?
If I get into my anger, my therapist said to me, you're not going to do with the feelings anymore. With this situation, you got to, like, you're going to have to think about it, because when you get to anger, you get over here, you're lost.
Is there one other thing we can do here? But you can
I have
somehow...
a lot of anger towards him, but I mean, yeah. I mean, I do have a lot.
So when that gets triggered, thinking doesn't help you much, right?
No.
It's going to need to help you. But let's see if we can... Let's see if we can attach some words to those feelings so that when you start to think, you're thinking in the right language. I'm inviting Bob to explore and experience the powerful emotions that he may have shut down as a child, the ones he may be afraid to even feel in the presence of his stepfather, because his stepfather felt dangerous to him. We're unpacking them here, taking them out of cold storage, so to speak, creating a safe space for Bob to feel them so that he can elevate them to a conscious level and think about them without being flooded and needing to shut down again.
You're pathetic. Yeah. And I want to say one thing. I want to say one thing here. Yeah, okay?
Now make sure you get it straight.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me.
Get it
Listen
straight.
to me. When my sister, not my half-sister, as you would like to say, she's my sister, your daughter, my sister, my mother's daughter, okay, looks like me. The spitting image of me, huh? Not like you.
And I'll say it again. She's your half-sister.
You ask her.
Not
She
your
is
sister.
my sister. You pathetic man, okay? She's my sister. And she looks just like me. Just like me.
Like a little girl.
Eyes. Yeah, like a little girl.
Not a man.
No, not a man, no. She looks like I look like a man. You're confused. I look like a man. She looks like a girl.
Say it
but
again.
we look. I am a man. I don't look. I am a man. You're confused. I'm a man. She's a girl.
Again.
I'm a man. She's a girl. And we look like each other. We have the same lips, the same nose. We look like each other. High cheekbones, okay? We look like each other.
Half-sister.
And you're shut up already.
It's your half. Yeah? Shut up! Stop me! Just stop me! You're so bad? Can't do it, can you? You can't do it. You never had the guts. You never will.
We're allowing Bob to re-empower himself by giving physical vent to the rage he carries inside that as a child he could never express directly to his stepfather.
I don't need you anymore, okay?
We don't need you anymore.
No, we don't. We don't need you anymore. Uh-huh. Pathetic piece of shit. You pathetic piece of shit. You pathetic human being.
You beat me when I was defenseless.
You bullshit excuse for a human being. Excuse for a human being. Who goes around and beats up women and kids? You stupid asshole. You stupid asshole. You stupid asshole. Who does that? Then you go to your family and say, oh, those kids, man, oh, those kids. What, those kids? That's what we are, kids. You fucker! You fucker! You killed my sisters, you motherfucker! They committed suicide because of you! I don't want you in my body anymore. I don't want you anywhere in here. Too late. It was too late. Too late years later when you said, no, you never said I'm sorry. No, you never said I'm sorry. You know? Am I doing the right things, is what you said. No, you could never do the right thing. You screwed that up years ago.
After Bob releases his anger, we see him trying to make sense of other emotions that arise once the anger is expressed. We see the conflict between love and hate emerge, the two feelings that he has never been able to integrate towards his stepfather.
The really weird thing was I was on the road. I was down south somewhere doing a show, and I got word that you died. And I cried. Why did I cry? Why did I cry? Did I like you? Despite all of this crazy stuff, did I like you?
Somewhere inside of me, I was attached to you. And it confuses me.
Yeah, you were never nice to me. You were never really never nice to me. And somehow I attached to you. I guess I couldn't believe it. I still wanted a father. I would take you to be my father. That's how desperately I wanted a father. But you shit over everything. And you wanted everybody out of the house. I was too young. Mikey was too young. Shirley committed suicide. Dorothy committed suicide.
I miss them. Those were my sisters.
They were my sisters, yeah. And I missed them. And Johnny, when Johnny died. Johnny was my brother, but Johnny was my father. He was the real surrogate father. When you kicked him out, you kicked Dorothy out, you kicked Shirley out. Mikey was next. It's sad. You're sad.
Again.
You're sad. Your daughter left. Not my sister. You're my step-sister. You know? My step-sister. Who never wanted to have anything to do with us, or anything to do with you. She just left. Got as far away as she could.
The pieces of John Sacker's history begin to fall into place. Bob is beginning to put his abuser into a framework, into a context that is removed from him. This helps him to separate from the abuser, to lessen that traumatic bond.
I bet you used to go bawl your eyes out to your sisters and your brother. Your brother was a mean man, too. Your brother beat his son with a bat over the head. God. That's what you guys knew what to do. You just hit. You hit.
You guys came from a bad place.
You came from a real bad place. You came from a real bad place.
And you brought that place with you into our home, my home.
You gave me your stuff. You gave us your poison. And if I'm a sissy because I cried, so I'm a sissy. Okay? I don't really believe that. Men cry.
Again.
Men have feelings.
Again.
Men cry. Mom, men cry, Mom.
Again.
Men have feelings, Mom. Okay?
As we move along, Bob recalls his relationship with his brother Johnny, who loved him so. He is reclaiming that sustaining and nurturing love. We need to elevate our abuse and pain into a conscious context in order to heal it. But we also need to bring our love, our sustaining relationships, into consciousness as well, so that we can marshal the inner strength, hope, and resilience to move on and continue to grow and try new things.
No, there's something special about Bobby. There's something, so you don't know how to handle it. You told me that. Johnny said there's something special about Bobby. And he was proud of me. He was very proud of me.
He was proud of me.
Yeah. And my heart ripped out of my chest when he died. He was very, very proud of me.
proud of you.
Yeah. He said there's something special about Bobby. Yeah. I hope you heard that.
Reverse role. Bob speaks from the role of his mother here. He is describing their last conversation from her point of view before she died.
He said, Mom, I love you, and I'm very, very sorry for the hurt that I've caused, of anything that I've done. I'm really very, very sorry for it. And I said, Bobby, I love you too. I love you. I said that. I didn't say, of course I love you. You're my son. I said, I love you. And I said, I'm sorry too. And I'm really sorry for the abuse. I'm sorry for marrying John Sacker. If I'd known that that's the way it was going to be, I wouldn't have done it. And I do love you. Would you be willing to put the ugly picture behind and hold in your heart the picture of me? Two pictures. One of me holding you, and the other one of the love that we had together when I was dying. Because I really did love you, and I was saying goodbye. Would you do that? Hold the two pictures.
Reverse roles?
Would you do something for me? Would you be willing to hold the two pictures? The one of me holding you when you were a baby in my arms, remember that? And the other one of you holding me when I was dying. Because I love you. I really love you.
Say it again.
I really love you. I really love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You.
Would you walk over hot coals for me?
I'd walk over hot coals for you. I'd eat jagged glass for you. I'd give up John for you. That's how much I love you. That's how much. And you're a man.
Yeah.
With feeling.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to understand that. You know, I'm not as educated, as sophisticated as you, you know.
But I know you had feelings, but every time you had a feeling, you know, like the time I asked you if you really loved Dad, and I remember you were grating potatoes. I'll never forget.
Yeah, I was grating
you were grating potatoes, and I said, tell me, did you really love Dad? And you went into a trance, and you were telling me about it, and the potato was grated, and you started to grate your knuckles. I remember that. It was like a little blood. And that's the first time, the only time that you really expressed feelings. And before that, you always clenched it and swallowed it. And I couldn't swallow mine. It had to come out.
Scary for me.
Yeah.
Feelings were scary.
And the scene with Mom any way you want to for now. I'm ending the scene at what feels like an integrated point of the drama. I don't want to flood the protagonist, Bob. I want to help him to consolidate his gains and come to closure. He understands that his feelings, as he said, had to come out. That his mother was from another generation, another mentality, and so was unable to protect him as he wished she could. He has said what he needed to say to John Sacker. His body has relieved its repressed urge to get angry, to defend himself. He has reclaimed love and forgiveness with his mother and his nurturing relationship with his brother Johnny. His face looks relieved and lighter. It feels like an integrated piece of work. We spiraled back from the present, from Susan and China, into the origin. Can we just find China now? Now we're spiraling back up into the presenting problem that Bob walked in with. Bob has been acting out his own pain from the past with his granddaughter in the present. Here, we're revisiting the presenting problem with the granddaughter, with new awareness and insight gained from our psychodramatic work. We can see how powerfully and effectively working through the past trauma has immediate benefits for helping him in his current relationships.
You look so scared.
Sometimes I don't know what to expect from you.
Yeah, I know. I'm very sorry. I've told you so many times I'm sorry. Yeah. And I made a promise that I'm not going to tease you in the wicked ways that I tease you. Yeah. And I've kept my promise. I mean, I haven't done it.
I'm so afraid that I scare you, China. I don't want you to be scared the way I was scared. Sometimes
I feel like I terrorize you. I feel like you're going through the same feelings that I went through when I was a kid, and I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to do that to you. I want you to feel safe in the house.
And China's not you. China's China.
China's China.
China's not you.
She's not me.
No, she could never be. She didn't have a stepfather. She didn't have any of the stuff you had. China's China.
You are my grandfather. I love you. I need you.
Yeah.
I need your love.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of love to give you. I have a lot of love.
I know you can be good with me.
Uh-huh.
I'm a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love that you sing all day and that you walk around dress up. You're going to be an actress, I say that. You walk around dress up and, yeah. And I do love you.
I love you too, Grandpa.
You say that I scare you and you scare me. But
why do I scare you?
Something gets triggered in me. That place in me, how old are you, China? You're
4.
You're 4. Well, when I was 4, I was going through a lot. And your 4-year-old triggers my 4-year-old. And then my 4-year-old doesn't know what to do. Is that
and then I
right?
get into a sort of tug of war with you. And you say, I don't like you. And I say, I don't like you either.
We're both 4.
We're both 4. And then Nana says, Pop, you're the adult. And I always say, I don't like you either.
Are there other things that get triggered? What needs to happen so that your 4-year-old
When you
doesn't...
first said that, my first thought was somehow she's not the enemy. You're not the enemy.
No.
And my fear is that you're taking away something from me, the love or from Nana, that I want from Nana. You know, but you're not, because Nana has plenty to give.
You're adding to my social Adam. This is a psychodramatic way of saying you're expanding my network of relationships.
Yeah, you're giving me a lot. Yeah, you're adding to my life.
You can give me that also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have fun times together. We have fun times. So I want to realize for myself that you're not the enemy and that you're not there to take anything away from me. And Nana has a lot of love. I have a lot of love. I can give you love, Kaya love, Nana love.
And Nana's not my mother.
Nana's my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody else is
Nana-
her husband, just me.
Just me.
I don't share that role.
Yeah.
She wants me there.
Yeah, Nana's my wife. I'm her husband. She's not my mother.
She's not my mother.
She's not my mother. My mother died.
My mother died.
Yeah. My mother's name is Susan. Nana's name is Susan. But they're separate people.
Yeah. Two Susans.
Two Susans.
So end the scene with China any way you wish to for now?
Today is Friday, so I can't take you to Burger King, because I'm here. But next week, I promise to take you to Burger King. And I promise that we'll sit in the seat that has the 1950s car, all right? And I'll wear the silly crown. I won't make any... I won't complain about it.
I like when you did that.
Psychodrama is like a smorgasbord. And you could put it out there and say, okay, let's look at this piece. Okay, well, that doesn't fit or that doesn't work, so let's look over here. We can look at the issues and see, you know, what gets triggered. What's going on? What's the pressure that's doing it? And psychodrama is a very safe way of looking at it and doing it.
Sometimes sharing is called a love back, and I want to give love back to the protagonists for going where they did today, and including me.
It is a powerful experience to let this kind of material come to the surface, both for the protagonist and the group members. I cannot emphasize the importance of sharing enough. It allows the group to heal what came up for them as a result of witnessing the drama so that they don't carry it with them. It lets role players de-role, share about what it was like to play the role and what else has emerged for them participating in the enactment. It reintegrates the protagonist into the group and trains them to take in caring and support from others. We show only a portion of the sharing here, but it can go on for as long as it takes to accomplish these goals. When structuring psychodramas, always allow plenty of time for sharing.
I wanted to jump up and be the stone. I wanted to throw that little guy out of there and get in there with some real rage. Because that's what I carried around for a long time and which so disturbed Lisa for a long time, I think.
You wonder if anyone, knows what you're going through. It's like, here's the group and here you are. It's like, it takes a long time then to process all these emotions, it's like, you run away from home and then here you are and they take you back home.
I shared in here that I tried to piece together my history, why I'm so traumatized. My mother was. My grandfather I never knew, but he was an alcoholic. I pieced that together. And he beat the crap out of my grandmother and probably my mother. And I was thinking, you were maybe that's like my grandfather, seeing, so the whole thing is, thank you.
So do you want to de-roll Travis from the grandfather transference?
Oh, it's
Some bunch is off there.
When I looked around the room, I picked you as my mom, but I actually picked you because you look like my stepdad, who I call my stepdad, my sister's father. And then when you did your drama, I was like, oh my God, this is why. I mean, so like there. Like he told me when I was 8, he goes, he's Irish, Polish, and he was an alcoholic, and he said, you got 2 strikes going against you. 1, you're black, and 2, you're a woman. He used to talk like that. So when you did your stepfather, I was like, oh my God, it was so there. And you're wanting something from your mom that she couldn't give, but like you're realizing at a certain point that she gave you what she could, and there was sometimes ways out. At least that's what I got from the drama. So there aren't any accidents. And when I looked at you, I knew I was picking you because you look like my stepfather, but there's something I want from both of them. And you know, as I talked in my drama, he was coming in it again, and then I see you do your thing, and I'm like, wow.
And, you know, there are no coincidences and no accidents. That you picked me because, and the stepfather reference you made was all there. And when you at one point mentioned about your mother being 30-something and having 5 kids, my mother was 20-something, having 5 kids when my father died, you know, and I really connected on that. But what happened while I was up there listening to you, I started to see you as my sister Shirley. The pain, the whole need to talk to Mom about whatever you needed, and my sister was so alienated and so pushed out there, and then became a junkie. She became a street junkie, you know, and then eventually committed suicide. And I just saw her there, so, you know, it just gave me an appreciation again for my sister, you know, and for my mother. And that if we could wish, if we could have a wish granted and that my mothers could come back and see us today, you know, I just had this beautiful image of my mother sitting down with all 5 children, you know, and just like having a real conversation, a real human conversation, and, you know, talking back and forth and not shamed by what happened or what's going to happen or all those kinds of things, you know, like a pure, you know, maybe like a family.
You know, I have a very similar issue with my father, with the absence of, and that was very powerful for me. That moment of being lost, of saying, how do we do that? And P.S. And I don't want to become that. You know what I mean? I don't want to become. In my entire fucking family, there's not one decent role model for what I think a parent should be. So I thought, well, what do? We find one, we create one. I don't know, but it's an empty place for me, and it helped me to know that I'm not alone.
The whole process has helped me heal a lot of issues from you know, family of origin, present day stuff. You know, because what we want to do in a way is to revisit the past and kind of open up about it, or look at those numb feelings or those frozen feelings, and maybe say the things that we need to say, didn't have the opportunity to say as children or as adults. And I think that's so freeing. That's so freeing. Once you get it out there, once you put it out to the universe, once you put it out of your closed insides, healing takes place. How that works, it's amazing. It's amazing. So
how did they...
I love doing it, being a participant, and I love working as a therapist using psychodrama. I love doing it in my men's group. I have a men's recovery group, and I use psychodrama. And it blows them out of the water, but the healing is just so phenomenal, you know?
Sorting things out here and realizing how powerful it was. And it kind of took me by surprise. I admired the courage, both of you, and Sheila jumping right in there. And Bob, so much a man by being willing to put out so much, not only deep feeling and a range of feeling, but also owning conflicting and kind of shameful feelings, you know. Because I remember once in a meeting just saying to some guy, you know, kind of responding to that kind of atmosphere of like, that tough shut up and get it together, you know. It's like I just had to say out loud, it's like, hey, you want to, you know, you want to square off? Let's deal with some real deep feelings, see how much of a man you are, you know. You want to do that, you know? Let's see how tough you are, man. It's easy to shut down from him and stay away from him. Let's get into him and see how tough you are. It's a funny kind of like calling someone out in the bar. It's a different version. Let's step outside and feel feelings, man.